Hello and good day. Thank you for joining Insight and Red Hat for our network automation webinar. Today we'll be having a conversation with Red Hat Solutions Architect Mark Ivankovich and Insight Solutions Architect Terry Hartman. We'll be focusing on enhancing network and security management in Cisco through the use of Red Hat's Ansible automation platform. I want to take a moment and quickly showcase this timeline of Insight and how we've evolved over the years. Insight has grown both organically and through acquisitions, and we've transitioned from more of a typical reseller to a solutions integrator, focused more on services and solutions. With our acquisitions of Blue Metal and Cardinal in the past few years, we've been able to bolster our DevOps and cloud capabilities. In 2017, we significantly strengthened our data center capabilities with the acquisition of DataLink, which has become the cornerstone of our advanced automation services and solutions. More recently, our acquisition of SADA and InfoCenter have further elevated our capabilities, bringing leading edge capabilities in Google Cloud and ServiceNow. As we explore Insight's approach to solutions with Red Hat, Ansible Automation, and Cisco, I want to highlight why Insight should be your top choice for partnering with both Red Hat and Cisco. We support both businesses today with a couple dozen pre- and post-sales engineers across a number of technical teams. Cisco has been and continues to be Insight's largest infrastructure vendor, a relationship that has spanned over 25 years. Insight continues to be one of Red Hat's largest partners and has been now for more than a decade. Insight has the ability and experience to support clients with their Red Hat and Cisco solutions, both on-prem and in the cloud. So it's notable that we maintain great relationships with major hyperscalers like Microsoft Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud Project. Also, you can be comfortable and confident that we can help you with your Red Hat and Cisco needs throughout your journey, no matter where your environment lives. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and pass it over to Terry and Mark.
Thank you. Introduce myself, Terry Hartman. I have been with Insight for 22 years, and I am primarily focused, and my team is, the team that I'm on is under Insight Public Sector. But I do also, within that, also have some healthcare, and then I help where I'm needed, as we all do. I guess my background or my strengths, if you will, would be the route switch, legacy stuff, Wi-Fi, and security. Mark?
Hi, I'm Mark Ivankovich, Solutions Architect at Red Hat, and I work in the partner ecosystem. So I help partners enable them with demos, education, training, and to enhance their capabilities across all of our platforms, which is RHEL, OpenShift, and Ansible. So thanks for having me today.
So kind of wanted to start off with, some people put a lot of weight on them, some people don't, but nevertheless, at least the industry on their Forrester wave under the infrastructure automation, this is, as you can see, Q1 of 2023. You've got a couple top leaders, and Red Hat has been there and continues to be one of the strongest players in the infrastructure automation market. So definitely a good partner to have, to not only their capabilities, but also partnering with Insight and strengthening our solutions as well for our customers. So this one here is I'm going to kind of hand it over to Mark a little bit on this one, but as you can tell, it's about the automation platform and all the different things that it can do. This is a really brief slide, if you will, but nevertheless, it gives you a pretty good overview of it. Mark, you have anything that you want to take off on this one?
Sure. Just a brief introduction of Ansible automation platform. As you see here, at the bottom of this slide here, the data center, the cloud, and the edge. Ansible automation is deployable anywhere. out in all the public clouds, even on premise, as well as even out in the edge for edge computing. And as you see up there in the control plane in the automation controller, it's everything that encompasses automation within the enterprise, credential management, orchestration, all of the integration. And speaking about integration, just a little bit about Ansible for network automation. It's really a powerful open source automation platform that uses very simple human readable YAML files called playbooks to automate tasks across multiple devices and platforms. And you may ask yourself, why Ansible for Cisco devices? And the best explanation I can provide there is it's an agentless architecture, which means you don't have to install individual agents on every single device and manage that agent or troubleshoot it if it happens to go down or any other problems. It's also, wide adoption. Ansible has a vast amount of community involvement in that open source community project. And it's just been widely adopted that we've seen through customers, as you can see in that Forrester slide. And, it's a vast collection of pre-built modules for network devices, which include Cisco routers, switches, and firewalls. And then, some of the key components, of Ansible for network automation includes inventory files where you define the network devices and the groups that you want to manage. And then you have build playbooks, which are, as I mentioned before, the YAML files that contain a series of tasks and the logic involved for executing them. It could be for configuring a Cisco router or deploying a network-wide change somewhere. And then modules also are pre-built scripts that execute specific tasks like iOS config for managing Cisco iOS devices, or maybe the NXOS command for Nexus switches. So these modules are kind of pre-baked within Ansible automation platform for you to use. Kind of like, you think of it as an application developer, a function, built-in function. And then you have Ansible roles, which are reusable collections of tasks, variables, files, templates, and handlers that can be easily shared and managed across teams. And speaking further about that, the use cases, for Ansible with Cisco devices, we've seen a lot of our customers, with use cases such as automating configuration management, network device provisioning, compliance and auditing, and automating routine tasks, like backups and firmware upgrades and even configuration rollbacks. So that's just a little bit about Ansible automation platform.
Thanks, Mark. I think this one kind of continues on with what you kind of explained about the Ansible and the automation tasks. And once again, some of the things that you'd already mentioned, and there's a few more on here as well, that are really interesting to customers, and they didn't realize that it could do all of these things with all these different parts of their network. I've myself, I'm actually turning around and starting to get more questions being asked from the public sector side, as far as like school districts, K-12 and higher ed. However, the ones that I have been getting for quite a little while now is the healthcare. A lot of these people have very small teams, and they just don't have the time, or it's killing their time actually, to go out and do all the big troubleshooting that they should be doing when they're doing all the mundane tasks. And once again, here's just a little snippet of the things that it can touch, all the way from ICE to your, it's called DNA Center, but now it's called the Catalyst Center, the new one. And then of course, your data center stuff. And so very cool. Anything that you've seen out there or that you can add to this slide, Mark?
Yeah, it really speaks to enterprise-wide organization, especially in healthcare, which there's very mission critical workloads involved with healthcare being requiring network infrastructure to be up 365, 24 hours a day. And this is just kind of demonstrates the three simple actions that Ansible can perform. When a business user opens up an IT ServiceNow ticket, uh, you know, um, there's really an organization-wide uh, automation that can streamline IT processes, and enhance that operational efficiency and reduce manual intervention within a healthcare environment. Like, let's say, they open up a new clinic and, that user puts in a ServiceNow ticket for network provisioning, things like that. So, um, you know, uh, Ansible automation provides a ServiceNow collection as well, which I mentioned before, which includes, the modules that help with creating, updating and managing records in ServiceNow. So, they could end to end automate, that whole process with opening the ticket all the way to closing it out.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. And then, at the end of that closeout, they can turn around and be notified once again, saying, okay, all done, everything checked out, and move on. So yeah, very cool. This one just once again, not to beat, to go over it once again and everything, but it does kind of show edge, campus, data center, and each one of those things can be handled if you have ServiceNow. Very cool. You got the trouble ticket already. If you don't, then it can still be kicked off by individual or and Mark will talk a little bit later about something that triggers that event. But it's kind of the cradle to the grave on your network. All the way to edge, whether it be your security infrastructure and or routing. Um, Campus, of course, all your access and wireless, then all the way down to your, all the way out to your data center, your east-west traffic, and some of the things that can be done off of it, including you see it even integrates in with ACI and Cisco Intersight. So very, very, very powerful tool, and not just a niche product, or it only fits in one little silo. It goes all the way across your actual organization. So yeah, anything, Mark, that you want to add to this slide?
Yeah, it just shows the verbose capabilities. With all of the Cisco devices out there, we have an Ansible automation platform, what we call Automation Hub, which is a primary source for certified content. Developed by Cisco and Red Hat together, uh, you know, through our integrator partnership. And it just really speaks to, the type of content and the modules and the collections that are available for you to automate these different devices across all of those domains, whether it be at the edge, whether it be, in the data center or anywhere else.
The other thing that I really like about it is you can build it as you get comfortable. So if you want to start just with the edge, or if you want to start just with some switches on the campus layer, you can do that. And then, okay, well, now I'm comfortable with it. Let's tackle another one of our domains in our network, and then you can kind of build on that one. And it just allows you to, start small and work big, or stay small, or whatever, however you want to, it best fits your team and your organization.
Yeah, that's a good point, Terry. A lot of our customers, the early adopters of Ansible automation platform, when they first start out, they'll usually, tackle the network devices first, and they may start out simply with, a 100 node subscription, and they quickly learn very fast how the platform works, how to write playbooks rapidly, and get those devices automated. And you know, on and on for day two configurations as well. It makes it a lot simple for them to get started easily, with that 100 node subscription. That, expands out eventually, to depending on how wide the scalability is within the
Sure.
enterprise, their networks.
This one, you had mentioned a little while ago about your automation hub. This one kind of speaks to that. I think there's a couple things that you had told me about that you kind of wanted to touch on this slide on. Go ahead.
Yeah, just with the, from the automation hub, it's easy to locate the desired collection, uh, following the instructions for the installation and use, and then being able to incorporate, these collections into automation workflows. You start by integrating the certified collections into your existing playbooks, test the workflows in a controlled environment before rolling them into production, and then use Ansible automation platform features like job templates and workflows and surveys that kind of enhance the automation capabilities. And then there's monitoring and managing the automation as well by leveraging Ansible automation platforms, built-in analytics, monitoring, reporting tools to track automation performance, just a whole vast capabilities there that.
One of the things that you had mentioned to me, Mark, was that I thought was very cool is not only on within this, do you already have playbooks that have been blessed by both Cisco and Red Hat? But if you have any issues with them, then you also have support. Is that correct?
Yeah, the support's top notch. It's integrated support as well. So if there's a problem with the Cisco collection that's downloaded and installed and using, if it breaks, you can call Cisco for support on that, or you can call Red Hat, and both of them will work together on that ticket to resolve the issue. So it's a joint support effort.
So once again, the biggie out, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, the biggie out of that one that is really hits to me and customers as well would be the you're not just okay, there you go, and have fun and let us know how it happened, how it goes for you. You actually have help. And okay, how do you do this? Or this one's just not quite doing what I expected it. You have that help available to you, which is very powerful and very much needed. I mean, automation is kind of a scary thing. So you want to make sure that it happens right. It happens right the first time.
Yeah, that's a good point, Terry.
I'm going to talk a little bit about this one. This is probably my slide. It's Don't forget about all the stuff that Insight can provide for customers, along with getting them prepared for the automation path. We have, everything like, once again, cradle to grave, all the way from the cabling side of it. If it's a brand new greenfield building or construction that's been going on, we can turn around and put your cabling infrastructure in there, which is certified, using the leading top manufacturers for that. Fibers, I've got a customer that's a hospital right now. The cabling is good, the copper, but they need to replace their fiber plant. We're doing that for them as well. And so it just goes ahead and it builds upon that. Our Wi-Fi, we do assessments, both network and Wi-Fi assessments. And then, you get your networking involved, well, you can't forget your security. And so we've got everything all the way down from your perimeter security all the way out to your endpoints, and your, laptops, desktops, things of that nature. Of course, we have the expertise in order to do this. So we're not out, um, you know, putting a design together and then handing it off to somebody else. We actually have CCIEs on staff. We've got very knowledgeable folks out there doing their hands-on with the keyboards and everything else. And then once that's the automation can help with the actual installation of the equipment. So if that's something that you're interested in, it can go hand in hand along with the actual implementation. So don't forget about all the different things that we do as far as Insight, and along with our partners such as Red Hat. We had talked about or mentioned, if you will, small IT teams. Those guys should be out, according to the directors and the VPs and stuff. They should be out doing the troubleshooting. They should be out doing, if there's a problem on the network, troubleshooting that, or helping users, or coming up and doing new designs and stuff like that. And it's a really small, almost like a tiger team, if you will. So the last thing you want to do is just overburden them with the mundane tasks of a daily operation of, it could be a small little config change on, or firmware updates or something of that nature within the network. We call that mundane. It's a very important thing. Don't want it to go wrong. But once again, if it can be automated, then why not let it be? This slide just kind of goes into a little bit of a, what is it kind of like on a VPN, site-to-site VPN configuration and testing? Takes somebody, roughly about 2 hours. Well, if you implement the automation part of it, you've got playbooks that are already written for you, and you just have to run a few tests and stuff like that. You might bring that down to about 5 minutes. So that just frees up your team. Here's some other ones. Mark, I think you had seen this in play as well. And there's, of course, another thing that I want you to, if you don't mind talking about, is the event-driven tasks as well.
Yeah, sure, Terry. It's good point about, all these manual effort that's required to, set up site to sites and doing all those mundane tasks. That the time to value is really what automation is all about. It frees up network operators and administrators to focus more on mission critical projects and things like that. And then as we talk about event driven architecture, we've come out with event driven Ansible, which is an approach that combines the automation power of Ansible with real-time event handling, allowing systems to respond automatically to specific conditions or changes in a network environment. And when integrated with Cisco networks, EDA can help automate network operations, reduce manual intervention, and enhance overall efficiency and reliability. And further into that, EDA it's a framework that enables Ansible to execute automated actions in response to events, such as could be syslog messages, SNMP traps, API calls, or other network conditions. And instead of running tasks on a scheduled basis, EDA kind of reacts in real time, making it ideal for dynamic network environments. And some of the key components of EDA are event sources, which are, these are triggers that initiate an automation action. Example could be a log in files, like I said before, SNMP traps, or even network monitoring tools, or Cisco specific events like, syslog messages, or, from Cisco devices. And then you have rule books, which are kind of define the logic of when and how Ansible should respond to specific events. And it consists of conditions, which are the event, and then the actions, which are Ansible tasks or playbooks that get run. And then you have an Ansible rulebook runner, and this is the service that kind of runs and monitors the rule books, continuously watching for defined events and triggering actions accordingly. A lot of benefits with using EDA with Cisco networks in particular. You have that proactive automation, which automate responses to network events, and things like link failures or configuration changes, maybe security breaches, and reduce downtime as well. You can quickly remediate issues as soon as they occur, which really reduce that manual intervention and response times.